Okay, good day. So this is just a very quick video on quick fix for the issues that we're having here. Where this sort of thing, I've got this working now, but what I've done is I've basically removed the collision. And I've done it in a very particular way. And I'll explain that in a second, how I did that. First, what to do is I want to go to here, the VDB from polygons. VDB from polygons. We're getting this, and it's working well-ish. But the problem is that, let's say I do reshape, you're going to see it looks pretty rubbish. It's not getting any, it's not filling the interior properly. So what I did to fix this is I went the inverse, by the way. Instead of getting that, I just did the inverse. So I get the VDB from particles again, and I also get the VDB fluid density, which does a better job at rebuilding the insides at least. If we go inside here, this should look a little bit better than going inside here. And then I just do the VDB combine to combine the two of them, so I just union them. And then here I've just got the geo, convert it into VDB, build it, and then I do VDB combine, and I do like an SDF difference. That's given me this a better result in here. And now I can actually reshape this if I want to. Previously I couldn't. If I didn't have this thing going on here, just disable these two, it normally wouldn't work. It would look pretty rubbish. Looks like it was working there, which is really annoying. I think it was if we went like this section, we get something like this, which isn't what we want. Okay, so all that. In here, all I've got is I've got a time shift, and I'm just offsetting the frame. So this is like offset by 2. This one's offset by 1, just so that the particles don't spawn inside it. Because I didn't do it. I would normally do an erode so that they would get closer, but I'd like to do that. Okay, inside the PopNet itself, though, this is where I've actually done the magic. I'll rebuild this up. Yep, I've got a reference. Alright, so what I've done is I've just got the ground plane here now. Pop solver, I've just turned to unchanged. And if I just turn this on now, we're going to see it looks kind of alright, but it's definitely filling into the actual SDF itself, which is not what we want. And the way we debug that is if I get over into here, I lay down an attribute wrangle. Might be better if we use actually. So I lay down a bop here. Let's plug it to this one. Go to here. And then inside here, what we can do is we can say volume sample. I'm going to bring in the position. I'm going to second input. I'm just going to keep it to a number. If I plug it into the CD, then we're not going to see much, but do I can say a bit range, a ramp. Over that side here, I'm going to change this one to red, on to green. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to say 0. That should be giving me how many points are inside there, technically. But a better way to do it is kind of to just do like a hard limit, that. And you can see, if I scroll down, you can see the ones that are actually being inside the VDB itself. It's not really doing much here, but another method we could do, because the VDB is eating into itself, so it's not too bad. But if we want to actually make sure it doesn't do that, I do something very similar. I'm going to lay down a pop wrangle. Say what I'm doing as I'm going through it. So what we want to do is we first of all want to get the if it's inside this or not. The way we do that is we can say float SDF mag with SDF magnitude. The volume sample 1 because I'm going to use the second input. 0 because it's the I can just leave surface here technically, and then add attribute P. Make sure it's surface. Then what I can do is I go down to inputs. I select a second context input here. Now that's working properly. Then in here, and say if SDF magnitude is less than 0, so if it's inside the volume itself, then else was at CD equals drawn red, and I'm going to make this one blue. Actually, green tends to be better, but you can see the ones that are actually inside here. Don't really want that, especially if we're going to continue on with this. So what I do is I want to get the gradient. So the gradient is like the normal. I want to get the normal of the surface that we're hitting. To do that, I go vector, SDF direction, going to be volume gradient. I've got a very helpful thing here. So I'm going to say 1 for the second input, surface, and then attribute position. Finally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now get the direction. I'm going to offset, I'm going to basically push it back. So I'm going to say at P plus equals SDF dir. And you can see it's pushed it out. Not quite as much as we want though, because SDF dir is a normalized field, so it's a value of 1. So what we can do here is multiply it by the SDF magnitude. But you're going to see it's actually going to bring it in now. This is because magnitude is a negative number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert it into a positive number by just saying the absolute, which basically just says get the number and make it positive. Now you can see that's now been pushed down. Then what I can do to double check that to see if it's now inside this is do this again. I'm just going to do a small if statement here. I'm going to call this number 2. I'm going to make another if statement here, except I'm going to do it in one line if. So at CD equals SDF mag 2 less than 0, question mark, then I'm going to say set 0, 1, 0, then colon set 0. This is a one line if statement. You can see there still is a lot still going in there, but less is now. So what I tend to do is I multiply it by that. And now that's pushed it out. Then what I did later on is I had a dead signature, because it's going to be pushing it down below the ground. The ground is already here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to kill those ones if it gets pushed into the ground. So if at P y is less than 0, just call it dead. At dead. That'll get rid of the ones on the. And there you go. That's the way I fixed this so that it actually interacts with the volume and doesn't have those odd sticking substeps around it. I hope that was helpful.